My name is Jonathan Lewis. I'm the Division Director of Innovation and Customer Experience here at Miami International Airport. Our charge is to try to help foster and create a environment for collaboration in an effort to improve services, not only for our customers, but also for our 40,000 plus business partners that are a part of our MIA ecosystem, as well as our 1,500 employees here at MIA. So we look to improve five focus areas: smart airport transformation, improvement of the customer experience, the employee experience, business process improvement, and sustainability. So my division and my team focuses on those core five areas and try to work with the other divisions here within Miami International Airport to improve services. Our private wireless network plays an integral role in our transformation to Smart Airport 2.0 by providing us with the flexibility to scale much more quickly than we could in the past. The ability to place sensors and other devices in parts of our airport that before were very challenging from an engineering and design perspective when you're talking about putting data cables in ceilings and walls, on cement walls, et cetera. There's a lot of things that prohibit that. With the advent of our private wireless network, we're able to place those items and sensors and other devices in areas we couldn't before, and additionally at a lot less cost. So that really has helped us to have more data sources, giving us more information to help us become more operationally efficient and to make more data-driven decisions in how we can improve services here at MIA. Back, and I want to say that might have been 2021, if not 2022, when we first did that pilot. What it opened up for us was the possibility of being able to again place infrastructure where we couldn't before much more quickly. And as a result of that, initially, our focus was to deploy cameras in certain parts of our perimeter as a part of our to improve our security posture around the campus. And that was really the genesis of this. And then from there, we started to see where we could deploy and backhaul IoT devices. Then we saw where we could stream, video using this. And then we started to work with vendors that started to work on different appliances and devices that we wanted here at MIA that could natively connect to our CBRS platform. So that really sparked it, or was the genesis to make all this happen and make it reality for us. The first thing that's always the hardest is change, and not only change management from a network or infrastructure perspective, but also change management from a human perspective in regards to this is a different way that we can do this, and there has to be some adoption that, and looking at risk and then starting to be able to feel as if that this is something that can be trusted as a connectivity tool. And that probably, was the hardest thing to get everyone to take the time to understand the technology, to say, okay, based on this, this is something we could trust. After that, the rest of it, mostly, if anything, has more to do with interoperability of different systems, i.e., for example, one of the things that I think people struggle with is if they're using IoT devices that are on LoRaWAN, how are you then taking those LoRaWAN devices and backhaul or bringing that into your private wireless network? And then secondly, with the different LoRaWAN type sensors that have different subscription-based web portals from different vendors, and trying to figure out a way to aggregate that into one centralized location so you don't have disparate dashboards all over trying to monitor different types of sensors, I think was the biggest part of that. But those are challenges or hurdles that we overcame pretty quickly. We've deployed sensors in support of our moving walkways and escalators, and those are telling us giving us an indication when those have failed. So what was before a person, a human walking around and actually looking to see if all 600 plus escalators and moving walkways and elevators are working, we actually are able to know through sensors that that's happening, and that's a huge improvement. Automating that process so that a ticket can automatically generated with the moving walkway contractor in order to come and dispatch a technician to repair is a huge step forward in regards to business automation. Also, from the perspective of kiosk, we have some kiosk devices that we use for passenger processing. In the past, we would have to core the floor for electrical and core the floor for the data cable. And then that would be in one central location. Since we have private wireless, we work with our vendors. They've made a mobile device with a battery that lasts 14 hours, and we're able to move kiosks around the airport to help shape traffic based on passenger loading in other areas. And these are things that we would have never saw before, right? They're just these things are in this place and people just stand in lines. Now we can shape lines and move bottlenecks within our terminal in order to make passenger processing flow much more seamlessly. And that wouldn't have happened without PWN and the ability to start to make a lot of things that were fixed devices now mobile devices. From a cybersecurity perspective, one of the things that we liked early on, or at least I will say that I definitely was appealed to me, was the fact that through the subscriber identity module, it gave us another layer of security, number one. Number two, it's not being advertised as a network such as Wi-Fi is with an SSID. So from that perspective, we thought the potential for hacking was less. Since then, we have got some private wireless zero trust appliances that we've implemented into our infrastructure to ensure added security to our network. But overall, we view this as being more secure than Wi-Fi. And actually, as we've adopted this private wireless network, then what we're trying to do with it, we actually are looking and have pushed our wireless or Wi-Fi towards public passengers for them to get free Wi-Fi when they're here in our airport, and really using our private cellular for what we would call business class wireless type services. Revenue generating opportunities that we are creating. We have what's called within the aviation community a shared tenant services program, where we sell services no different than other uh, CATV or a broadband company, where we sell CATV or IPTV, we sell internet, we sell telephony, we install cable, we provide smart hand services, we provide wireless or Wi-Fi services for our tenants within the airport. And then one of the new service offerings now is private cellular services. And we're able to leverage that for baggage handling. We're able to leverage that for the tenants and the concessionaires. Could be for their point of sale devices. It could be for their mobile kiosks. It could be for their tablets. All of this is a part of the monetization effort. In addition to that, we're looking at our aircraft turnaround platform and actually perhaps maybe monetizing that as well. So there's all sorts of opportunities for monetization. And through the implementation of a MOCN gateway, the opportunity to actually um, extend public carrier signals in areas that we may not have on the campus, which is another opportunity to monetize and generate more revenue. So it's all on the table at this point. What I would say first and foremost is that if anyone's looking to embark upon this and they haven't done anything at this point, the first thing I would do is really get a consultant. Um, I'd recommend one that doesn't do the system integration, but has the expertise and understanding of what that takes, and to work through them and build a checklist or a framework of what you want. There's a lot of devil in the details with the private wireless equipment in regards to subscriptions, licensings, the type of radios and radio heads you can buy, and antennas, and all sorts of different things. And there's different costs associated. And if you don't get someone that actually knows, you could really go down the wrong path for millions of dollars, in my opinion, before you realize, wow, there is a better way for me to go about doing that. So I think that that's number one. Um, and then number two, I think you have to look at this with a eye for the future. Right now, where's your platform at? What type of dongles are you using for connectivity? Are those going to be compatible? Are they 4G, 5G compatible, only 4G? All of those types of things I think need to be looked at when you're buying things, or you can spend a lot of money really quickly and find out that you need to go back and really do a reboot on some things in order to provide the interoperability that you're looking for with a private wireless network. Well, and what I tried to do, I took a hub and spoke approach. Um, Basically, we're a big organization, and there's a lot of opportunities where the private wireless network was able to help out. And so where someone would come to us and say, hey, they needed assistance with something, and where we saw that we could leverage that, then we would help them with that. And through that engagement, and then the word of mouth and the communications throughout the organization, other people started to hear and understand and say, hey, is it possible that we could use this for that? And like, yes, we could. And so then we look at that project, and then the next thing you know, we went from 10 radios to 20 to 50 to now we're at 111 inside our terminal and growing, obviously. And then outdoors, we have radio or coverage in some areas outdoors as we're going to build for ubiquitous coverage throughout the campus. And that's all how it happened, is just one at a time showing somebody, hey, and they're like, wow, this is really quick. Well, we need to put up sensors for passenger queue monitoring. And normally that would be, okay, well, we need 35 cables. We're going to need to close security checkpoint. We're going to need to do this at night. We're going to need permits. We're going to need, and the next thing you know, we're talking about 6 months later, we finally got this done, and probably, $150,000 to $200,000 later. Whereas now we're able to say, okay, hey, when can we schedule that? Next week on Friday. Okay, 7 o'clock, see you there. And we're up and operational. The way that has really worked out for us is, I'll give you any example. I'll give you one. We were looking at, and not us in innovation, but people within our ecosystem ask innovation if we could find a point of sale monitoring system for our concessionaires. And so we went to look and see if we could find one. And we found a few that were out there, and we found one that, from a security perspective, we thought was perfect, and it didn't interfere with PII data. But one of the things then that came up is, if we have 200 plus concessions and we need to install this equipment in order to monitor it, how much is that going to cost? Because now we need to close the concession, which means during a time that they're not open. We're going to need to core the floor. We're going to have to rearrange their architecture or their setup or their design for their concession in order to install this equipment. So it's pretty like, nah, that's really a no-go. But what we found is, hey, wait a minute, with a private wireless network, we could do this. We wouldn't have to do any coring, any drilling, and we wouldn't have to change their interior design. Okay, wait a minute. Now let's look at the return on investment now. Oh, wow, this really looks like something that it could be really viable for us. And that's sort of the approach that we've taken, looking at what the costs were before and saying, hey, would it be cheaper if we did it that way? And in a lot of cases it has, and it's also helped to accelerate because it's taken less time to do things, which ultimately causes us less money as well. Costs us less money as well. I would, number one, get a consultant, as I stated. Number two, I would look very hard at what the subscription and licensing costs are and what those subscription and licensing cost options are. I also would look at what is the vendor's support look like. What is his tier 3? What does that tier 3, tier 4 support look like? Is this something that I can call, open up a ticket, and someone is going to be working with me immediately if I have a network down? Or is this an issue where I'm generating a ticket and someone's going to call me within 24 hours, and meanwhile my network is down? There's a lot of devil in the details in regards to the day 2 services when you actually need the system, where you really, I believe, need to have a reputable and a reliable vendor that is going to be able to support you. And I know for some airports, or I'll at least speak for us, that we're starting to put critical infrastructure on this network. I actually need a vendor that is responsive, immediate to some of these needs that I have for some of the things that we have riding on our network. So with that said, I think that that's extremely important and something that you should consider. You're talking about pushing autonomous vehicles on the apron of your airport. And if you have some sort of issue or you're having connectivity issues, are you going to be able to get someone that's going to be responsive, or tell me I'll be with you in 48 hours, or I'm really not sure, or are we, oh, you know what we're going to need to do is upgrade your platform to something else in order for this to work? That's something you don't want to have happen. And I think you need to be very, very careful on who you select as your vendor.